So one of the things that happened in the first few days of Trump's time in office is he basically hit us with a fire hose of horrible policies. It was a tsunami of horrible policies that we got hit with. And look, when you do that, it becomes very difficult for the media and for just everyday people to really follow along, to really know the depths of the depravity and the destruction that just got brought upon us. And, look, I largely blame the Democrats for not having any organized response to this. I largely blame the media for not being aggressive in covering this. And it really feels kind of lonely out here, actually going through his executive orders one by one and telling you what's going on. Because this is not something that many are doing, right? Well, I got another one for you here. And this really, really sort of sums up what the first couple days were like, okay? So look at this. This is from NPR. National Institutes of Health cancel scientific meetings after Trump directives. Now, as you're about to see here, this included freezing funding for cancer research, which included current ongoing clinical trials where people were getting care. People were getting treatment for cancer. Simply put, Trump froze people getting cancer treatments. That's what he did. Here we go. Scientific researchers around the country are concerned after the National Institutes of Health canceled meetings this week with very little explanation. The move comes after federal health officials were told to halt public communications until they could be reviewed by a Trump appointee. Now, by the way, I should also point out, avian flu is spreading very quickly around the country through different animal populations. There have been some instances in some places where humans have contracted it. There's also, a tuberculosis outbreak, I want to say was in Kansas. You got all these important things going on, and Trump goes, no, you're not allowed to do any communication internally and with the public to the health agencies. Guys, this is exactly what it looks like, which is like, hey, if there's an outbreak that happens, we want to be able to hide it. That's what he's saying. The NIH is the largest public funder of biomedical research in the world. What happened? I thought, we're told, big pharma is so important and they do the research and development. No, they don't. It's government money that goes to universities that funds the research and development, and then big pharma steals the rights to those things and price gouges us. That's what it is. It invests more than $40 billion in research every year. The agency gathers together scientists at academic institutions around the country into what are called study sections to help them figure out what research is the most important to fund. Dr. Crystal Starbird, a cancer structural biologist and professor at UNC Chapel Hill, said her study section was scheduled to meet next week. On Wednesday, she received notice of its cancellation through email. Quote, "It was pretty vague. It said that it's canceled, that they can't afford any further explanation at the time, and it thanked us for our service at the NIH. She explains that these aren't the kinds of meetings that can easily be rescheduled. There are a lot of moving parts involving different institutions, all operating on different timetables. A delay, especially an indefinite delay, like this one, could have negative impacts on important cancer research. It's possible this is just a temporary pause on meetings to allow the new Trump team to get their bearings. And indeed, the freeze on public communications for all the Department of Health and Human Services, NIH is part of HHS, has an end date of February 1st. I guess I can understand that potentially, but I don't understand the lack of communication. I also don't think the people who just made that decision fully understand what that may mean in terms of implications for really important and critical research. NIH did not respond to NPR's questions about the scope and reasons for the cancellation." So by the way, people on the right have been firing back with like, hold on, a freeze on communications is common when you switch from one administration to another administration. But it's the length of the freeze here is very uncommon. They froze it all the way until February 1st. And it started, January 21st? So this is a long time to freeze this. Now, what are the real-world implications? Well, let's take a look. A friend of mine has skin cancer and was about to start a clinical trial at MD Anderson after his other treatments did not work. Trump's decision to temporarily halt funding for medical research also applies to clinical trials. His treatment is now canceled. When cancer treatment trials for patients are now canceled because of Trump White House muzzling on all science, who suffers in the end? Is this really making America great? Why isn't anybody talking about this? Why? Again, this is what drives me crazy. There's 1,000 things that desperately need our attention, need us to talk about it, hammer away on it, make it front page news, and like none of it's happening. It looks to me like the resistance is beat down. They've given up. You've got the full capitulators like Fetterman and the semi-capitulators like the members of the Doge caucus in the Democratic Party. We're not doing this. We can't do this. You got to stand up. You got to fight. You got to speak up. You're just going to let shit like this slide? I don't know if I saw a single Democrat brought up Trump signing an executive order that raises drug prices. I don't know if I saw a single Democrat speak up about Trump's executive order that allows for corruption in the executive branch among the cabinet. I don't see it. I don't see it. Again, it's like when I stumble across one of these stories, I'm like, wait, that can't be right because this would be everywhere if it was real. No, it's real and just nobody's talking about it. How many people are not getting cancer treatment that they desperately need because Trump decided to crack down and freeze funding for all of our health institutions? 4 years. 4 fucking years. He needs to unfreeze this immediately. Immediately. And remember, who are they trying to get to come in to control our health institutions? The guy who believes in junk science. The guy who would rather you have raw milk than pasteurized milk. Fucking RFK Jr. The anti-vax crank is who they want overseeing all the science in this country. We're cooking. We're cooking. Are we fully cooked? That's for you to decide, but we are certainly cooking. There's no doubt about it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.